Risk reward and win rate are two very important things to understand as a trader. So in this video, I'm going to be looking to define these. I want to go over kind of how these two things make up, technically how successful you are as a trader. I think getting a better understanding of these two things and how they work together are very important to being successful as a trader. So first, we will talk about risk reward. So risk reward, and this is kind of my definition. I want to look up an actual definition to compare it, but the way I see risk reward is it's the ratio of potential reward to risk for a trade. So if your stop loss is a 1% down move and your target is a 3% up move, then your risk reward is a 3 to 1 because you are targeting to profit 3 times more than what you could potentially lose on the trade. And looking at the AI search result, when you look it up, that's pretty much what I said, the relationship between potential loss and potential gain of a trade. Something important to understand is that there is typically a difference between your targeted risk reward and your actual risk reward. Why? Because most traders don't close the entire position at their target. Pretty simple. Most traders don't just close their entire trade out in one limit order as soon as price hits their target. You may take partial profits along the way up to your ultimate target, or you may leave some of the trade on the table for if it continues past your target, or both. Maybe you take partial profits and you're also planning on leaving some to potentially ride past your ultimate target. And the way I decide to manage my trades depends on a lot of things. I think most importantly, it depends on my overall bias. So, if we're in a bullish environment like we are right now, where Bitcoin's at all-time high, most of my long trades, I'm probably going to be looking to hold past my targets because I know that it could, become a trade that I can hold for the long term. Bitcoin may just end up going up. Maybe I entered a trade down here on a low time frame, took profits along the way up and just held a part of it to continue running. If I am range trading, if Bitcoin or whatever I'm trading is trading sideways and I enter a trade at the low end of the range, maybe my local target is only going to be, something a little bit above us, but I may look to try and hold some of the trade for if we rotate to the high end of the range or if we break out of the range. And if I don't think that a trade that I took has a higher time frame bias backing it up, let's say I'm looking at trades right now and we're in a Bitcoin bull market and I decide to take some sort of local short, just targeting, a little retrace, I may decide to close the whole trade out at my targets rather than hoping that it continues to run, just because I know that we're in a bullish environment and we will most likely ultimately move to the upside. Your win rate is very simply the percentage of winning trades out of all of your trades taken. So basically it's just the percentage of trades that you win. If you take 10 trades and you win 5 of them and you lose 5 of them, then you have a 50% win rate. If you have those same 10 trades, you win 7 of them, you lose 3, then you have a 70% win rate. So yeah, very simply, it's just the percentages of trades that you win, which, honestly is not something I obsess over. Like, I don't actually know what my exact win rate is. My win rate probably fluctuates. Sometimes I'm winning a lot of trades, sometimes I'm winning half my trades, sometimes I'm winning less than half. But it is something that I like to stay somewhat conscious of. So now, talking about the relationship between these two things, I'll draw a little separation line here. If my win rate is greater than 50%, meaning I win more than half of the trades I take, then I could be profitable as long as I have at least a 1-to-1 risk-reward average or greater. So let's say you take 10 trades total, all right? You win 6 of them, you lose 4. And for the winners, you made exactly a 1-to-1 risk reward. So you risked 1%, you made 1%. So that's plus 6% in total, plus 1% for each of them. And for each one that you lost, it's minus 1%. So that'd be minus 4% total. Means you're still profitable. You are still profitable 2% overall. And that, of course, is not taking into account compounding. And if you're, changing your risk based on your current account balance, which is something I like to do, after every trade, I kind of, recalculate how much I should be risking. But in general, if you have greater than a 50% win rate, then you can be profitable as long as you're making at least what you risk with every trade. That's the point that I'm trying to make. And some traders focus on win rate. Some traders focus on having more wins than losses, and looking to gain about the same amount that they risk. And if you add in good risk reward with that, like if you're making a 2-to-1 risk reward for every one of these 6 wins, then you're all of a sudden a lot more profitable. And if my average reward is much greater than my average loss, let's say for my winning trades I make 3% and I lose 1% for my losers, which would be a 3-to-1 risk reward average, right? We're just using hypotheticals, say we have exactly a 3-to-1 risk reward average, then you really don't need to have a greater than a 50% win rate to be profitable. In this example, if you have greater than a 33.4% win rate, then you'll be profitable, right? If you're winning at least 1/3 of your trades and you're making 3 times more than what you risk, and of course, that's like the bare minimum. As long as you're winning more than 1/3 of your trades and you have an average of a 3-to-1 risk reward, then you will be profitable or at least break even. And, counting for fees, maybe you'll lose some if you have exactly that win rate. But my point is, if you have a better risk reward, then you don't need as good of a win rate to be profitable. Alright, I wanted to make this short addition to this video for 2 reasons. One, I felt like I left something out. I didn't really mention which of the 2 I tend to prioritize, either risk reward or win rate, and I would say it's risk reward. I am willing to take multiple losses on one overall idea. I just made a couple videos going over that subject, which I'll show an example from that video, but I'm willing to take multiple losses on an idea, which could give me less than a 50% win rate if my risk reward is good enough. And in this video I posted 10 days ago, I took 2 long trades from down in this zone, and one of them ended up being a loss. I took a 1% loss on my first trade, and if I remember correctly, I believe the second trade I took was a 0.5% risk. So I took half of the risk I took in my first trade. I already took a 1% loss on the idea, and I wasn't super confident in the entry, hence the title. I was a little unsure about this trade, so I took half the risk on my second attempt at getting that trade, and that one ended up being the one to really run. I ended up netting in a total of 4% from that one idea, 0.75 in my first TP, which is slightly more than what I risked on the trade. And my second TP was a 3.25% winner, which I took profits as we broke above 100K. A 4% win on a 0.5% risk is a 8-to-1 risk reward. I realized an 8-to-1 risk reward on the trade, so I netted 4%, and then minus the 1% loss on my first trade, I ended the day with a 3% profit. That is just one example of me really prioritizing risk reward over my win rate. I don't really care to have the best win rate in the world. I care to be profitable, and I like looking for those super juicy trades that have good risk reward, and ideally a high probability of being able to realize that risk reward. But anyways, that's all I wanted to say. Back to the video. And obviously the goal would be to increase your average risk reward and your win rate, but some traders choose to focus on one over the other. Like maybe they average a 5% return for their winners and a 1% loss on their losing trades. Then you can lose most of your trades and still overall be profitable. And like I said, my risk reward and my win rate are not something that I know exactly. I don't obsess over it that much, but I do stay conscious of it. I try to make sure that I'm doing things to increase my average risk reward and my win rate. And doing that, I am slowly becoming a better trader. Alright, well that does it for this video. Thank you everybody for watching. If you enjoyed, consider leaving a like, subscribing, leaving a comment. I appreciate the support, and I will see you in the next video.